Professional.
This is a bug in OBS, I'm pretty sure. There it is. Okay. Now Twitch has audio. All right. Stupid freaking
blah blah opening of show. Hey, what we got going on this week, Devo Spice?
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week, or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey,
what?
Oh, he's right.
Dave, just so you know, you will hear the audio, but you're not going to see the video. Obviously, I have like video clips and stuff, and when we play your song, I'm going to play the video. So, Luke, what you been up to?
Well, the main thing to report on is that last Friday night was the MarsCon 2020 Virtual Masquerade Ball, and as a part of that, I was asked to put together a 1-hour concert set that was dubbed the MarsCon Comedy Music Sampler Platter, and so yeah, it ended up, I know we could have done things the way it was done for FuMPFest at home, but I figured it would just be easier on everybody involved if I just asked, the acts that I, reached out to ahead of time, if they would just be able to record about, 7 or so minutes of themselves and send it to me, and then I'd edit them all together and, have myself hosting the thing and blah, blah, blah. So that's what ended up happening. I basically kind of ran out of time because I have a job that's more or less full-time hours now. And also at some points I need to sleep. So,
Sleep is for the weak.
So when I got to the point on Friday afternoon when I was about to have it all finished up so I could just air the thing, I went to render it with my computer, which is fairly new and has a solid state drive, and I thought it was going to be able to just like rip through it, within 10 or 15 minutes, and it said like, oh, it's going to take like an hour or two to render, and I'm like, okay, looks like I'm going to have to play this directly off of Adobe Premiere Pro in order to air it. So that's what I had to do. There were a couple of mess ups at the beginning that were basically my fault because I was trying to make sure that the thing was coming through as good as it could. It only messed up like one of the song performances, and then at the end of it, I went back and I replayed that song just to give Beth Kinderman the proper 2-song treatment she deserved for the live broadcast. So the performers in it were Beth Kinderman, Mark with a C, Lauren Mayer, Devo Spice, this year's upcoming music guest of honor, Robbie Ellis, and then finishing off with me at the end. And that was another thing that I discovered because I recorded my concert stuff Friday afternoon. I did 3 of my songs, one of which is, one of my longer songs. And then when I went to put them all on the thing, I found out that I basically have to edit down and squish things down and take out all of my gabbing in a bunch of different parts just to make sure it all fit in the 1-hour time. Anyway. And then there was another, we had a cameo from Dr. Milo T. Pinkerton III, because he was interested in being involved, but he knew he couldn't get the band all together to do something. And I said, well, what if we have Dr. Pinkerton give the viewers a brief history of MarsCon and the comedy music track, since Dr. Pinkerton has been a guest of honor at MarsCon, therefore he is a expert on all things MarsCon. And he was like, yes. So
Dr. Pinkerton is an expert on all things, period. So
yeah. So he was kind enough to send me that footage, and then I actually, because of the fact that it aired the way it is with me playing it directly from Adobe Premiere Pro, I was able to go back and kind of add some more images to that part of things where he's explaining things and clean it up a little bit more. So then I rendered it, and everyone said it was okay for me to put it on YouTube. So it is now up on my YouTube page. So if you missed it the first time around, go to youtube.com/LukeSki or youtube.com/TheGreatLukeSki, and you can watch the whole 1-hour show. And there's other stuff I want to talk about, but I'll save that for the news part of the show. So what have you been up to this week? Sometime.
This week. Next week, I don't know what I'm going to be up to next week. Actually, I'm going to be doing a whole lot of nothing next week. This week, I finished up working on the FuMP Volume 83. I got that packaged up, and Luke is going to hold it up now. Hold it up.
It's FuMP 83!
Yeah. So that's all done and shipping and stuff. And
That's Devo Spice.
Yeah, that was the picture I took while I was handing out candy to the trick-or-treaters on Halloween. So yeah, the FuMP 83 took up most of my time this week, finishing that up. And the other thing is, I was thinking about like all the stuff I have to do and how I want to get it done and stuff. And I decided I needed some new software. So I went looking for like goal-oriented software, and I found some. I forgot what it's called. It's Goal something.
Called Tetris.
It's not Tetris. Goals on Track. So I've signed up for that, and I'm going to see how it works and see if it makes a difference. Because I realize I suck at like planning ahead, and it's like all of a sudden, like, you know, hey, Black Friday is next week. I was going to do stuff like put some of my music on sale and stuff like that, and it was like, if I don't plan that ahead of time, it's going to be, you know, this show next week, and it's like, hey, none of my stuff is on sale. Shit, it's too late to do it now, you know. So I'm hoping that this software will help me solve that little problem of mine, and we'll see. I'll let you know how it goes. And that's about it, really. It's been a busy week at work. Nobody cares about that. So that's it. So Dave, what have you been up to? How was your week?
Oh, it's early yet, but it's been colder than I enjoy. I do outside construction during the week.
Oh, yes.
Myself.
Yes.
But
you're not far from me, so it must be pretty cold doing that.
yeah, it's damp and cold, and takes me a while to get going in the morning. It doesn't take me long to shut down right now. But no, but I getting a lot done. Got a lot more to do. But it's supposed to get warmer, and I'll probably be working all freaking weekend during the night, during nice temperatures. But life's good.
That's cool. So you posted a song. You sent us a lovely song. Give us a quick intro to this song, and we'll give it a listen. Actually, we'll watch the video because you posted a video.
Okay, it's the song's about kayaking and their limitations. It'll sort of be self-explanatory, and there's more to say after you watch it than there is before you watch it, I think.
All right. Here is In a Kayak by DC and Company.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. My friends all say, you gotta ride this new way. You gotta go out and get you a kayak. We have tons of fun paddle out in the sun when we all get together and kayak. I thought, hey, just wait, this would make a great day. So I also bought my baby one. But when push comes to shove, it's time for some loving. It's easier said than done, 'cause it's so hard to in a kayak. It's something that we really try. But you flop and you flip, then you're taking a dip. At this rate, I fear we may die. In a yacht, you can stand, you can walk, you can squat. It's so hard to in a kayak. In a canoe, me and you, we could always make do. It's so hard to in a kayak. It's the oldest of woes for the great Eskimos, and possibly maybe they're doomed. Though they're very efficient for transport and fishing, there just ain't enough effing room. 'Cause it's so hard to in a kayak. It's something that we really try. But we flop and we flip and we're taking a dip. At this rate, I fear we may die. It's so hard to in a kayak. 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 just ain't enough effing. Ooh, I can't stare at her chest when she's wearing that vest. It's so hard to in a kayak, and I can hardly flirt when I put on this skirt. It's so hard to in a kayak. My baby and me paddled off in the sea under the stars and the moon. When she leaned in to kiss me, she rolled it and missed me. We'll get in a gosh darn pontoon, 'cause it's so hard to in a kayak, and it's really taking a toll. A major frustration to end generation, the mariner's best birth control. 'Cause it's so hard to in a kayak, and it's something that we really try. But we flop and we flip and we're taking a dip. At this rate I fear we may die.
Very nice. So, since this is your first time on the show, give us the rundown: who you are, where you're from, what you do, all that good stuff.
All right. Normally, DC and Company is an 8-piece band that plays funky blues, bighorn section, and we have traveled up and down the East Coast and have 4 CDs out that did well back when there was a music business, and
Right.
life has been changing. And every time I go to the music business, it's exactly not there anymore. And there's something else to do, which is really not business at all, comparatively, as far as making a living. But until COVID came, we were playing out several times a year and and still doing what we love to do. But this song, a bartender, lady friend of mine, said her and her boyfriend just got kayaks, and where's a good place to go? And then I went to tell her about a place I used to go, has a across the river, and then there's a island with a moat in it. And I used to take girls back there years ago, and we'd have fun in the moat. And then I said, oh, but it's so hard to in a kayak. And we both laughed and said, oh my God, that's the name of the song. Now I gotta write it. So then I wrote it and got some dear friends of mine that we played together, but not in the DC and Company, more bluegrass pickers, and we recorded it. And then COVID came, and they're all older or married, and they weren't allowed to come out to do the video. They weren't allowed. And I did the video just for got to do something fun and creative.
Yeah.
And I was going to figure out how to shoot a video myself because I've never done it. I asked an old friend on Facebook, hey, is there a video editing software that would be good enough, but somebody as dumb as me can figure out? He said, well, what's your project? And I showed him the song. They said, We Want In. And they're called Freedom Over Fear.
Okay.
Media. And so the two guys, two Spanish guys that are in the video.
Okay.
And I've known the one for 30 years. Dear friend of mine. We cross each other's paths and disappear again. And it was so great for him to come in, and they did a fantastic job. But it was amazing because of COVID. You know, before you go into a bar, who wants to be in a video? And you'd have more than you could handle.
Yeah.
Now it was help. Who's allowed to come out now? Who's not? But So what it comes out to, this is what old people do when you shut down the bar on us. So that's basically what the video is, and it was more fun to do than it is to have. I mean, the process
Yeah.
was a ton of fun, and we had a great time, and a lot of lovely people came out and met each other. I mean, some are old friends, but other people but everybody had a complete blast, and it was something to do when there was nothing to do.
I was gonna say, you were saying that this was like, sounded like this was your first music video, and I was like, this is rather amazing for your first music video. And then you said you hired somebody. I'm like, oh, okay, good. I don't feel so bad.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, and they came in and they did it all but for free.
Mm-hmm.
And we, everybody's working full time, so we had to do it around everybody's schedule and around the weather. And it would have been nicer to come out a month earlier when people were still kayaking. We felt the tail end of kayaking, but it did everything that I was hoping it would do. And it raises money also for a project that I do in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Any sales that come, not from yours, but anything people buy it off of Spotify or iTunes or whatever. I'm not trying to screw up your business.
No. You will get royalties from this. You can do whatever you want with the money.
Okay,
I don't care.
From December 7th, I think this year, when the emergency shelters open up,
mm-hmm.
I go out and take care of the people that are living on the streets
mm-hmm.
that don't go in, and I feed them and make sure they have enough clothes, sleeping bags, and everything, and whatever sells off of this will go directly to that. And
oh, that's awesome.
God, it'll be a pittance towards what gets spent, but that is the upside of having fun.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. I'm really happy to hear that. That's fantastic. Good on you. Yeah, this is such a fun, happy little song too. I'm really glad you sent it to us because I really enjoyed it. So you're normally an 8-piece band?
Yes, except for we lost our conga player passed away in the fall last year.
Oh, geez.
We played 2 gigs after that, and then they shut us. Then everything's been shut down. Yeah. So who knows what we are? When and if it goes back.
Well, I guess you're a 7-piece band now, so I guess.
No, exactly. But who knows what I'll decide to do, and if it's, if it goes. If we get started again in the spring or the fall, when do we get to go play music again? And
yeah, probably not till next spring or summer.
Right. Hopefully nobody else perishes.
Yeah, as long as it's done by August, so we can have FuMPFest. That's all I really care about.
Yeah, all right, August then.
I was going to ask you something and I just lost it. I hate when that happens.
Yeah, no. I understand that.
We were talking about COVID. We were talking about music. We were talking about the video.
Kayaking. You guys kayak?
I do not have a kayak. My parents have kayaks. They have a beach house in Connecticut, so they have a couple kayaks up there. Do you do a lot of comedy songs, or is this like an outlier for you?
It's not I don't do comedy songs as like my albums. I have three fairly funny songs. What
Mm-hmm.
a butt. I have a song about leftover food that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
funny. I have a song. I don't know if it's comedy. It's about doing your wash, but it's like one of the most. It's called "You Got to Separate Your Wash,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's probably the most requested song that we've done.
Oh, that's cool. So you do like normal straight serious music, but you're not afraid to be funny now and then.
No, I like you got to do everything with the sense of humor.
Yeah.
But a lot of it doesn't. Music's music. You got to do whatever you're writing about. Do it to the fullest extent.
Yeah. And I love that you came up with the line and then said that has to be a song, because I swear half of my songs were inspired like that. I was like joking around, hanging out with friends, like, hey, that should be a song. And then I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let me write that down. And then the next weekend, I got a couple verses done, and
Yeah. Do songs ever get to you and never leave you till it's done?
Oh yeah.
Won't finish themselves.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's so you got the.
I've written entire songs while I was driving, which is not the best place to be writing songs. But I was driving to work and the song was in my head, and I'm like, okay, there's a line, and I'm using the voice recorder on my phone, to, record them so I don't forget them later. And then I got to where I was going, and I wrote it all down and pieced it all together, and presto, a song.
So you have the natural curse also.
Oh yes, yeah. the curse of the creative songwriter, and your brain doesn't shut up about it until it
and it doesn't know what time it's supposed to do it or when it's not supposed to do it. It just does it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Luke, was that you or no? It was Kyle who was remembered that one line from one song and then wrote a whole song about it or something, like something from the.
Yeah, it was he kind of got. There's one line from if you can deep dive this deep into nerdiness, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 had a song in it by Vanilla Ice called Ninja Rap, and there was like one line in that song that just kind of Kyle got stuck in his brain and was kind of fixated on, and while he was in the middle of working on some other big important storyboard project or whatever, it's like the song just kind of fully formed in his brain, and then he was like, okay, I have to write this down now and then get these lyrics down and put it aside so I can finish this thing, and then I'll go over and make the song. So and when I asked him, when he told me about it, and I said, is it blah blah blah, and I said the line I thought it was, he was like, yes, it's that line. I'm like, good. Me and Kyle sometimes share the same brain, and it's great. So yes. And then of course there's our friend whose nickname is Shoebox, who has in the past gone into the bathroom at work and brought Post-it notes with him and has written a bunch of very short songs on Post-it notes.
On the stall door?
No, on Post-it notes. Just he had a pad of Post-it notes with him.
He said walks into the bathroom. Didn't you say something about a bathroom?
Yeah. He went into the bathroom and he said his line is he carries a notebook around with him, and one day he forgot his notebook, so he brought Post-it notes, and he went into the bathroom and he wrote a bunch of short songs on the Post-it notes because that's all that would fit. So what's the songwriting process like for you normally? Is this like you normally just get songs stuck in your head until they come out, or can you sit down and write? Like,
it depends. I love having assignments or
deadlines even.
Like I've written for documentaries and stuff like that, and I love that. And you gather up all the information and sort of let it ferment, and then when it's crunch time, everything seems to come out as it's supposed to. If you try too early, you're forcing it. You know that you're forcing it.
Yeah, I can relate to that totally.
And there's artists that I've met that ask me to write, so I interview them and catch a couple of shows or something like that, and get their general phrasing and general humanism. And then then something comes to me. Whether they think it's perfect, I know it's perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a finished product comes out, and 90% of the time, they genuinely love it, and it works out well. Sometimes the subject matter they're not comfortable with, like if they're having a rocky marriage and that's what comes out about. Maybe that's not what they want to be singing about right now.
Yeah, a little too close to home.
Yeah, but but it's like I get the information, I put it up there to this out of my soul, and it comes out of me, and I'm like, wow, that's great. I sort of just stay out of the way and try to write it down instead of use a mental.
No, that's very cool.
Mental force to write it.
You said you've written for documentaries. Anything we might have seen?
Just south of Eden, about a artist called Ellis Ruley.
That doesn't ring a bell.
Out of Boston.
I was just curious.
Yeah, song's called Just South of Eden.
Okay.
What else? Nope.
That's fine. Cool. So do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Oh, goodness.
Albums, websites, t-shirts, merchandise.
www.dc and Company. All our information's on there, and then our information about the homeless work we do. That's on there.
Oh, sorry.
No worries. No, actually, I don't need nothing. Life is good, and the business ran me ragged for too many years, and I don't.
Spoilers for Mandalorian.
I don't do the business anymore. I just make music and try to have a good time and break even somehow.
That's the way to do it. Cool. All right, so we're gonna.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there any money in your business in the comedy music?
No, not at all.
Is there a living to be made?
Unless your last name is Yankovic, there is no money to be made in comedy music.
Okay. So you're in the same business I am.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does Al ever make the show?
No, he doesn't need us.
He's
got better
nice
things
to
do.
us. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he knows about us. He knows about both me and Luke personally. You know, he's a fantastic guy, very nice guy. But
I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but like Tony pointed this out to me like a month or two ago. Al, for Spin Magazine, Al did an interview with Jonah Ray, and apparently about 40 minutes into the interview, Al mentions the FuMP. So
oh, cool.
I haven't gone to look it up.
Oh no, I did read. Yeah, I read that interview. Yeah, yes, I did see that.
Okay, cool.
Doesn't he perform or have a club in Long Beach Island? I go surf fishing up there sometimes. One of the guys I fish with says Weird Al performs there or owns a club in Long Beach Island.
I don't know that he owns a club. He's probably performed up there.
Okay.
He might. Maybe. I mean, for all I know, he might. I don't know.
I know he owns a house in Hawaii.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, guys, thank you so much for sharing my music with everybody and let me have a chance to hang out with you all. That was beautiful.
Well, thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it, and I love that you're doing work for the homeless out there. That's great.
Yeah. And yeah, if you ever have any other funny songs you want to submit, please submit them. We would love to hear them.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, and I'll keep checking it on your site too, and listen to your other great artists.
Awesome.
All right, much love, guys. Thanks so much for everything.
Thanks for coming.
Stay in touch.
Take care, man.
This is the FuMP.
Ooh, Igor, this is not my match. The Vampire's Ball is a swanky affair. Well, shine up your fangs, grease back your hair.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is twice my praise. He stands for freedom on his two massive legs. His first couple movies, well, they weren't the best. But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is twice my praise.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
He is no saint, but somehow his game doesn't have the word taint.
Oh, the taint is in there. Trust me.
Of course it is. Dude, that's like your catchphrase.
Taint is not my catchphrase.
Oh yeah, what is then?
I'll get back to you.
So much for using your words.
Time for funny music news. Something, something, something.
In the news, this show, the FuMPCast, is no longer going to be streamed live on Facebook or YouTube, just because it's not worth continuing to pay for restream for the amount of people who are watching it on Facebook and YouTube. So, for the time being, we are going to be live streaming the video on Twitch only. We are, of course, going to be continuing the audio on Dementia Radio. Our Twitch stream is twitch.tv/the_FUMP. After the show, videos will be uploaded to YouTube, so you will be able to watch them after the fact on YouTube. We're just not doing it live streamed anymore, just because we're paying a ridiculous amount of money to restream, and like 3 people were watching it on those platforms.
And isn't there also the problem of both Facebook and YouTube like muting or deleting our audio if they
Yep.
So
and Twitch may start to do that too, so we'll see.
whee.
This past Monday's episode of Manic Mondays was number 700.
Woo.
What? Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So, Sea Monkey and I had all sorts of cool plans that we talked about doing, none of which happened. So, instead we just did I did a special interview with Sea Monkey, the man behind the scenes. You can listen to episode 700 at manicmondays.net. And if you're interested in giving me money for said thing, you can go to patreon.com/manicmondays. The MarsCon comedy music sampler platter thing that Luke did last week, which I really enjoyed, by the way, is now up on YouTube. Luke, where can they go to see that?
They can go to youtube.com/Lukeski or youtube.com/TheGreatLukeski. I believe both of them lead to my YouTube page. So yeah, it's
All right.
1 hour long exactly, and it is neat and fun. You can listen to it and enjoy it.
All right. Pony Death Ride has a new album out. It's called Unthemed. It's going to be available on the 20th. It promises 14 new danceable and undanceable tracks. You can pre-order at ponydeathride.com and ponydeathride.bandcamp.com. Escape from the Secret Lab will be ending season 1 with some upcoming shows. Coming up on the 20th, they have Mia Borders, who is a blues/soul artist. On the 27th, Kirk Winstein, who's a heavy metal act. On the 4th, Lynn Drury, who does Americana. On the 11th, Joystick, which is a ska band. And on the 18th, Sextet, which is a jazz band. Shows will resume sometime on the 21st. The Fridays after the 18th are, Christmas and New Year's respectively, so nothing is happening there. He might be showing reruns. And then the show will resume sometime in 2021 at some point. As I mentioned, the FuMP Volume 83 is now shipping. This features all the songs from September to October of 2020, including the full video of Another One Rides the Bus performed live by Luke Ski, TV's Kyle, and Lynn Zilla. Do that again. I had a screen up. Make noise. Make more noise. That was dumb. And finally, the Pac-Man EP by Worm Quartet went out today digitally to all its Kickstarter backers. It features 11 tracks of Pac-Man-y goodness, including Pac-Man is 40 and So Should You, plus 2 remixes of that song, one by the Gothsicles and one by Soggy Potato Chips. There's a cover of I Had Sex with Pac-Man by Barnes & Barnes, and also a cover of Pac-Man Fever by Buckner and Garcia, and a few other surprises along the way. It also includes my song Pac-Man that I did with Shoebox back in 2007. It will be available to non-Kickstarter-y people at some point in the not-too-distant future, including on all the streaming platforms. So check that out. I listened to it today. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got the email like right as I was about to walk out the door to go to my e-shift, and I'm like, I don't have the time to download it. So I will get that.
You got anything before tour dates?
Yes, I got a couple things. Ahem. Where did my list go? There it is. So that Frankified thing I did, the Christoween animatic that I did with Wally Wingert, I made a bunch of images that show off a bunch of the Easter eggs that are hidden throughout the thing, and Wally is going to be posting them on his Twitter feed. So if you want to catch those, go to follow at Wally Wingert on Twitter, and you'll be able to see those. We're putting up one every other day or so. He's put up the first two, so there is that. A few weeks back, Kyle and I we did a special video episode of Kyle and Luke Talk About Tunes, where we interviewed Eric Bauza for the first half of it. So he's like the first 45 or so minutes, and the second half is just Kyle and I doing stuff. It was done as a panel for a video panel for Youmacon, an anime convention, which had to go virtual. So we basically held on to it for a while, just because we wanted them to have the exclusivity of the fact that it was a thing. But Kyle posted it up on his YouTube page a few days ago. So let me see. I think, yeah, his channel is Kyle A. Carosa. I don't know if there's a nifty shorter URL, but I'm not seeing one. Anyway, but yeah, just do a search for Kyle A. Carosa on YouTube, and you'll find his thing. The name of the episode is Kyle and Luke Talk About Tunes number 183, Multiple Daffies, and you can watch that. So that's pretty cool. And what was the other thing I wanted to talk about? You already mentioned the MarsCon Comedy Music Sampler Platter. So yeah, I can't remember if I talked about this on a previous episode or not, but even if I have, it's worth at least mentioning again. I posted a question on the MarsCon Dementia Track Facebook page, asking folks, because this is something I've been thinking about for a few years, should we change the name of the MarsCon Dementia Track to the MarsCon Comedy Music Track? With my main reason for wanting to do so being that the general public doesn't know that dementia means comedy music. I was hoping, way back in the day, that it was going to eventually catch on, much like other words like fanboy and this and that. Like, my piece called You Might Be a Trekkie, I wanted to call it You Might Be a Fanboy, but back then nobody knew what a fanboy was across the country, and I wanted Dr. Demento to play it, so I had to alter it and make it You Might Be a Trekkie. Now, fairly most people know what a fanboy is, I think, in today's world, and the same can be applied to other geek terms and lead speak and meme language and stuff like that. But the word dementia to mean comedy music never caught on with people outside of the Dr. Demento comedy music fan bubble. So, because I'm trying to convince people to, I'm trying to convince acts to, in a non-COVID world, fly all the way out to the Twin Cities over a weekend and perform. And, some of the acts that aren't the guest of honor have to pay their own way and all that stuff. I just feel like it's only fair for me to do everything I can to try to get the biggest audience I can for them. So, and I've been thinking about doing this the past couple of years for MarsCon, but other things kind of came up that made, basically I had other things going on that kind of made it not a thing that happened, to put it in a vague, stupid way. So this time around, sometime earlier this year, I'm like, let me just ask the question. And it was kind of an unresounding yes from everybody that we should change it. Most people pointed out the fact that, which is, kind of obvious, that the term dementia, does in fact refer to, a degenerative mental disease that primarily, affects, aged people. And, that's obvious. We all knew that. So it also, in many people's opinion, seems like a step in the right direction as far as being sensitive to that, to that thing. So basically it's another reason to make that change. But I want everyone to understand that in me making this change, I'm not going to be trying to shame anybody for using the word dementia. I'm not expecting everyone to scrub it from existence or any of that stuff. I mean, Dr. Demento has an album coming out called First Century Dementia. He still uses that term on his show. I'm not trying to shame anyone into not using it. I still intend to use it, here and there where it makes sense to use it. I just feel like me trying to use it in like press releases that describe the kind of music I do isn't going to help me anymore. if it ever did, which it probably didn't, so it's like describing me as comedy music is going to get somebody's attention, and the same goes for the track. So anyway, I went about the task just before, like a couple days before the sampler platter concert happened with the virtual masquerade, and I'm like, crap, I got to change all this stuff because I've been meaning to do it, and if I don't do it, it's time to stop procrastinating on this thing and just do it, because now is the time where it makes sense to do it. So I changed the Twitter handle to at MarsCon Comedy, and because at MarsCon Comedy Music was too long for Twitter, so it's just at MarsCon Comedy. So I also changed the Facebook URL for the page to facebook.com/MarsCon Comedy, and it took a little bit longer because I needed to have Sarah come in with the assist, because I don't know, WordPress was being weird, and since Sarah set up the website, it wasn't letting me do it, so she had to do it for me to make the switch over to having it be, the website is now marsconcomedy.com, and by extension the WordPress code of the site is WordPress.marsconcomedy.com or whatever. So the point is that if the previous URL that has WordPress in it that says MarsCon Dementia, that doesn't go to anything anymore. That's gone. But if people type in marscondementia.com, it'll reroute them to marsconcomedy.com, and they'll still get to the right website. And I went around the website and I changed a bunch of the images. I asked Lindsay if she would take the old logo she designed for me and add the new text to it, and she did. So it's kind of been a few years coming, at least in my head, that it made sense for us to do this, and now it's happening. So that's the thing. So if anybody like Robbie was apologizing to me because I hadn't told anybody that I was going to be doing this, and then he referred to in the sampler platter concert, he referred to it as the MarsCon Dementia track, and once I started doing that, he's like, I'm sorry, I called the other thing. I'm like, no, it's fine. People are still going to call it that, because they know, and I'm not gonna like try to correct them or whatever. It's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure you all knew that is, now that the website has officially become marsconcomedy.com, it's like, okay, we got the website, we got the Twitter, we got the Facebook, we got the new logo, boom, we got it happening. And in fact, that's part of the whole thing. I had Dr. Pinkerton do his speech in the concert, was to kind of give a more or less, fudging it a little bit, accurate story of the history of the MarsCon Comedy Music track, just so that anybody who finds this video who's never heard of it or is wondering like, wait, what didn't they do this thing? What was it, the Dementia track? Like, if they were confused, it's like, okay, here's the explanation. So that's the deal, y'all. As I said before, besides Robbie Ellis, we have myself and Devo and Ian have all committed to be performing at it, whether it's in person or virtual. I've had a couple other people say that they are willing, but I'm going to save that. I'm going to try to get an announcement put together and probably announce it on Cyber Monday, because that's when I generally that's kind of my new goal. I had to pick a date. It's like, all right, every year the goal to make the big announcement, like the guest of honor and the big announcement for the track, has to be made by such and such a date, and I've decided Cyber Monday will be that date from now on. That's my goal, is to have that stuff figured out at least to that point by that point, so that I know I'm not stupidly behind like I had been a few other years. More news on MarsCon as it unfolds, but that's the dealio. I'll shut up now.
And I just want to mention, Wildcard just subscribed to our Twitch stream, our Twitch channel. Like, subscribed, which I think means he's giving us money for it. So, thank you, Wildcard.
Thank you, Wildcard.
Tour dates, the only thing to report is on Fridays on YouTube, we have Escape from the Secret Lab featuring Dr. Pinkerton, and also on YouTube on Fridays, Carla Ulbrich. That's it for news. That's it for tour dates. Let's get into our second song of the week. We should just probably invite Brad Tassel on at some point instead of Steve, since Steve and Brad are working together so much. The second song this week is Rudolph Dropped a Package on My Rooftop, Reindeer Song No. 2 by Steve Goody and Brad Tassel.
Christmas Eve had started, We were all excited from the cheer. We waited in our cozy beds for Santa to appear. My heart started to pound with glee, like the roof prince up above. The big man in red in his crazy sled, so full of joy and love. But then there came a jarring plop,
Like a bag of wet cement.
but that was nothing to the smell that came from every van. Rudolph dropped a package on my rooftop. Now we can't get anywhere near the tree. We've had to evacuate for Christmas. That stinky little reindeer made us flee. This year we had such high hopes for Christmas. We'd all been so very good all year. We thought nothing could be worse than a stocking full of coal. Until that gift plopped out of Rudy's rear. Rudolph dropped a package on my rooftop. Now we can't get anywhere near the tree. We've had to evacuate for Christmas. That kind of roasted chestnut's not for me. He puts the root in Rudolph as the leader of the crew.
He was their number one, so they all did number two.
A chain reaction.
Prancer assumed the stance,
While Dancer filled his pants.
and just then, in a flash,
Dasher took out the trash.
Donner did the honors.
Cupid got all putrid.
Comet dropped a bomb.
While Vixen and Blitzen took a... Oh my. Rudolph dropped a package on my rooftop. Those ain't no sugar plums, oh no, no, no. We've had to evacuate for Christmas. I'm sure glad Santa don't drive Buffalo. Yeah, I know I'm glad. So that he don't drive. Santa don't drive no crazy Buffalo.
Santa!
You drive that sleigh safe now.
Tip your elves!
Rudolph has left something on the building.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. 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 You know that segment of the show we do about now?
Feedback! Feedback!
Feedback.
Feedback. Wacky Ben wrote, I'm okay with the name change of the MarsCon Dementia track to the MarsCon Comedy Music track, and personally I think the word dementia and demented should be reserved for Dr. Demento since they associate with his show, just like I use the word wacky and wackiness for my show. To me it's kind of a trademark view, or if catchphrase or slogan are the right words to use. And my wife just
I don't
let
know
the
if
dog down.
I have mentioned this anywhere, but back in '99 when I was about to put out my third album, which is titled Carpe Dementia, I emailed Barry asking him if that was okay with him because I didn't want to step on his toes or whatever, and he basically said like, well, I don't own the copyright on the word dementia, so you know he was fine with it. I'm like, okay, cool.
I still love that title, by the way. I love that.
Yeah, I figured, I don't know if this is completely correct Latin or whatever, but I'm assuming Carpe Dementia means seize the insanity.
Probably. It's probably a different ending. It's probably Dementium or something to that effect. Yeah. Alvarant wrote, I like the name change because dementia is mostly seen as a medical term and we don't want to confuse people or imply we're having a laugh at their expense. Even if people know what you mean, there's still the stigma. When trying to find a metaphor, I've learned that catgut used in making violins is not actually made from cats. It's believed it's a short form of cattle gut because it came from cattle and sheep. This shows that once again, English doesn't just steal from other languages, it mugs them in a dark alley and checks their pockets for loose syntax. One other thing. Go ahead.
That was another legit reason why I was wanting to change it, is because what if people are reading that, seeing the word dementia, and thinking that is what our track is about? That it's like, which isn't like completely out of the realm that, you know, a science fiction convention, especially one with a reputation to have a much older skewing attendance base
and a science track.
Yeah, have, it's like, oh, here's a whole track about coping with, the aged. It's like, that's a wonderful thought, but I would hate for someone to show up expecting to see that, and there's up on us on stage, la, 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 la,
If they ever decide to do that, I could sit on the panel. Actually, my grandmother had really bad dementia towards the end of her life.
And then hello, my name is Shoebox, and this is Worm Quartet. Oh, this is for the crazy people. Okay, we'll go sit down. No, but yeah, it's legit. I was thinking, that was one of the points I made in that original post was, well, they might think that when people see Mars Con Dementia Track, they're either going to not know what it means, or they could possibly think it means the medical thing. And in either case, it's not getting us more people sitting, down to see the show. If we have to explain to everybody all the time, well, it's comedy music. It's like, well, MarsCon comedy music track. It's time.
Alvarench continues. One other thing, it may just be my feed, but I noticed lately that the RSS feed has the FuMPCast day to be the day before the podcast. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I publish the podcast feed on Thursday, and I keep the date on Thursday. Even if we go past midnight and it shows up on Friday, the date is always the Thursday. So I don't know if it means it's showing up for Wednesday for you, because that would be neat. But yeah. And
Draconis alert. Draconis alert. Draconis alert.
Draconis wrote, I'd like to congratulate Devo Spice on his 700th Manic Mondays, but he might get a big head about it. You need to make a blooper-only bonus episode for the die-hard fans. Thank you, Draconis. And yes, we are way behind on the bloopers. We do like blooper episodes every few weeks and post them to Patreon for our backers. And Sea Monkey hasn't done one in a little while, actually, so I should probably prod him a little bit about that. And that's it for feedback.
Woo!
Woo indeed. Woo feedback.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
Yeah.
Teasing. Tomorrow's song is by, get this, hold your nipples. Tomorrow's song is by Raymond and Scum.
Whoa!
And Tuesday's song is by Brian Woodbury. Let's get another one from Brian coming up. And tomorrow's Spotify playlist topic is children.
Children.
That's how I spelled it, too. Children. All right. DC and Company, or at dcandcompany.com. Steve Goody's at stevegoody.com. That's it. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right. Let's get out of here. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski.
And yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org, and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
a baked bean? Baked bean that? Baked bean that?
One last thing, I forgot to mention the name of this episode at the beginning. The name of this episode is Derp It to the Max. So there.